guys, we have a big breaking news coming out. The US Commander-in-Chief hands over Medicaid recipients' personal data, including addresses, to ICE. Donald is giving all the information to ICE to track these individuals. We talking about those in Los Angeles, possibly Chicago, across America. So you guys already know most of these people are on the, when it comes to the monthly Gov assistance, another way to track them down. What are your thoughts? Leave comments down below. Do me a favor and share this video. Once again, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. No one is safe. No one is safe. Yeah, we're gonna see what's going on here, guys. This is not only for the illegal, but again, sleeping giant citizens. Just saying. I'm not saying they're gonna send us or deport us. All I'm saying is your personal data is not private anymore. All right. So it says here, ICE officials will begin giving access to the personal data of the nation's 79 million. Wow. 79 million Medicaid enrollees, including home addresses and entities, to track down the you-know-who may not be living legally in the U.S. According to an agreement obtained by the Associated Press, 79 million. Wow. That's a big number. All right, so this might have been part of the big, beautiful bill. Wow. So the information will give ICE officials the ability to find the location of these individuals, those that came from the southern, across the sleeping giant, says the agreement signed Monday between the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services and the Department of Homeland Security. The agreement has not been announced publicly. This is a whole new ball game. Truly apologize about that. It's a green screen. I got a piece of tape holding it because it keeps falling. But man, they found a way to track them down. And that goes to tell you, many of them are collecting our stuff. That's a lot. I mean, what in the world are they doing collecting that much? Go figure why our military is only getting 13 a month. The veterans only getting 13 a month. That is wrong. I mean, it's just wrong because it doesn't belong to them. They can't, again, they're not even citizens. They don't even pay tax. But they get all the goodies. I mean, that's just wrong. That belongs to the sleeping giant. That's ours. It's like someone going to your house and steal your Christmas tree, your presents, and your food, and just takes it. It's just wrong. That's a big number. That's a crazy number. The extraordinary disclosures of millions of such personal data to deportation officials is the latest escalation in the U.S. Commander-in-Chief administration crackdown. I'm skipping certain words here. Follow me on the code words. Which has reportedly tested legal boundaries in its effort to cuff 3,000 daily. Lawmakers and some CMS officials have challenged the legality of deportation officials' access to some states' Medicaid enrollee data. It's a move, first reported by the AP last month, that Health and Human Services officials said was aimed at rooting out people enrolled in a program improperly. But the latest data sharing agreement makes clear what ICE officials intend to do with the data, the health data. Here's the thing, guys. These people knew. They knew by crossing into our sleeping giant illegally that there would be consequences. They knew there would be consequences. You breaking the law. What happens if you break the law in your land? Let's say you live in Colombia. If you break the law, what happens? What happens? They throw you in jail. If you break the law in another country, what happens? You break the law. So when you cross into our sleeping giant land, yeah, the left gives you all the goodies, but again, they just use you for November, the number, the VOTES. And it didn't work, and now the right is cleaning up the mess and sending you guys back home. There's consequences to all this. Now, we want many to come in, but it has to be legal. Just like every other country, they do it legal. They don't let the door open and let anybody in. It just doesn't work that way. Try doing that in North Korea and see what happens. Try doing that in North K. Try doing that in North K and see what happens. So it says here, oh, give me a second. I actually apologize. There we go. ICE will use the CMS data to allow ICE to receive identity and location information on these individuals identified by ICE, the agreement says. And they will track you down. They will track you down. There was a news that broke out. You know, the individual that opened fire at the ICE at the farm, the raid out there in California. Well, they put out his picture, his face. They're offering $50,000. They will find you, and he had a face covering. They will find you. They have technology. They know how to track down those lawlessness. Such disclosures, even if not acted upon, could cause widespread alarm among people seeking emergency help. The problem is that they were not supposed to, receive the assistance. That's the problem. That is the problem. They were not supposed to receive it. If they needed help, their land was supposed to send us money. It's like child support. You gotta pay child support. That land, hey, those are your kids. You gotta pay child support. You want them to stay in our land, you gotta pay us so we could take care of them. It says here, among the people seeking emergency help for themselves or their young ones, the efforts to crack down on the, who have made facility like the schools, churches, courthouses, and other everyday places feel perilous to the and even sleeping giant citizens who fear getting caught up in a raid. Now, you cannot say the U.S. commander is evil. You can't say that because it's not his fault. His job is to, again, those who break the law be persecuted or sent back. When I say prosecuted, it means that you've been caught, you broke the law, you have to go back. All right. So, again, many of us, we get, we do really, really, really dumb stuff at a younger age, and we get caught. We have to go to court. Sometimes the judge will, say pay the fine, or you got 1 year probation, or you're spending time in a can for 6 months. Again, but when it comes to these people, nothing happens. It shouldn't be like that. And you could blame the LEFT. You could blame them because most of this is happening in their state. HHS spokesman Mr. Andrew will not respond to the latest agreement. It is unclear, though, whether the Homeland Security has yet accessed the info. The Department Assistant Secretary Tricia said in the email statement that the two agencies are exploring an initiative to ensure that illegals are not receiving the benefits that are meant for Americans. I gotta highlight this. All right, so listen up. ensure that these individuals are not receiving the benefits. They are meant for law abiding sleeping giant citizens. I'm going to leave it right there. Just take a moment, all right? I'm not trying to be smart here, but this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the law, okay? You see that right there? That is the truth, all right? So we had LEFT, they went against that. They didn't follow the law, and they still gave billions and all the stuff to the new people. Actually, the mayor of Los Angeles, she's still doing it. She just signed a bill giving cash assistance to them. Just really sad. If they love him so much, maybe they should live in their land and just be, just join their political world. The database will reveal to ICE officials the name, addresses, the birth dates, ethnic, and the information, as well as the social security numbers for all enrolled in this assistance. The state and federally funded program provides the care coverage program for the poorest of people, including millions of young ones. The agreement does not allow ICE officials to download the data. Instead, they will be allowed to access it for a limited period from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday until September the 9th. Boy, oh boy. Buckle up. So you guys think this is a good thing or a bad thing? Some people are going to be like, no, it's a bad thing. No, well, here's the thing, guys. Why is it a bad thing when they collecting that belongs to the sleeping giant? So ICE has every right to go and check their stuff because they're not supposed to be in it. They're not supposed to be having those assistants. This is why many veterans are not getting the full benefits, which they deserve. They put their life in the line so we could have this beautiful sleeping giant land. In return, they're out there in the in front of 7-Eleven, sleeping on the bench and holding a sign, "Please feed me. I'm a veteran." They shouldn't be holding signs. They shouldn't. They are trying to turn us into the agent, said a CMS official did not have permission to speak to the media and insisted anonymity. Immigrants are not living in a sleeping giant legally, as well as some lawfully present, are not allowed to enroll in the program that provides nearly free coverage for, services. Now, the Medicaid is a jointly funded program between state and the federal gov. But federal law requires all states to offer emergency Medicaid, a temporary coverage that pays only for life-saving services in emergency rooms to anyone, including non-sleeping giant citizens. Emergency Medicaid is often used by immigrants, including those who are lawfully present and those who are not. Many people signed up for the emergency, in their most desperate moment, said, I'm going to skip the name, a previous advisor at CMS during the Joe administration. A lot of people signed up during Joe. It's unthinkable that CMS would violate the trust of, enrollees in this way, Catch said. She said that the personally identifiable information of enrollees has not been historically shared outside of the agency unless for law enforcement purposes, to investigate waste, fraud, or abuse of the program. It just blows my mind how many are just receiving this every month. That is insane, man. I mean, we should get something back out of this. We are taking care of the world. In return, what do we get? Nothing. Actually, we got taxes raising and we have to pay more. It just so long. The U.S. Commander-in-Chief team has pursued info aggressively. Okay, so U.S. Commander-in-Chief official last month demanded that the federal agency staffers release personally identifiable information on millions of Medicaid enrollees from 7 states that permits non-sleeping giant citizens to enroll in this program. The states launched these programs during Joe administration and said they would not bill the federal gov to cover the cost of those individuals. All the states, look at this, guys. It's all blue states. New York, Cali, Washington, Oregon, Illinois, Minnesota, and Colorado have them governors. Wow. New Jersey should be up there too. A lot more. That data sharing with DHS officials prompted widespread backlash from lawmakers and Gov. 20 states have since sued over the move, alleging it violated federal, privacy laws. CMS officials previously fought and failed to stop the data sharing that is now at the center of the lawsuits. On Monday, CMS officials were once again debating whether they should provide DHS access, citing concerns about the ongoing litigation. In an email chain obtained by the AP called the Hold DHS Access Urgent, CMS Chief Legal Officer said they should first ask the Department of Justice to appeal the White House directly for a pause on the info sharing. In a response, the next day, HHS lawyer Lena said that the Justice Department was comfortable with CMS proceeding with providing DHS access. What are your thoughts, guys? Leave comments down below. Dozens of members of Congress, including Mr. Shift of Cali, sent letters last month to DHS and HHS officials demanding that the info sharing stop. The massive transfer of the personal data of millions recipients should alarm every American. Well, again, not us. Those that came into the sleeping giant under Joe and other administration. This massive violation of our privacy laws must be halted immediately. Now, I did mention at the beginning, this could be very concerning because, again, even though it's happening to those that came into our sleeping giant, even though it's happening to them, doesn't mean that we are, again, we could be, next one. But again, Donald, what he's doing here, he's cleaning up the mess. He's not going after the sleeping giant citizen. Perhaps, maybe others in the next years could possibly strip this away from the sleeping giant or do something crazy. The new agreement makes clear that DHS will use the data to identify for deportation purposes people who in a sleeping giant illegally. But HHS officials have repeatedly maintained that it will be used primarily as a cost-saving measure to investigate whether non-sleeping giant citizens were improperly accessing the benefits, which they're not supposed to. Well, who's supposed to take care of us? Well, again, that's not the sleeping giant business. Sleeping giants are struggling. And again, they took all the benefits. Those are for, again, retirees, veterans. Those are for like single parents that has multiple young ones, sleeping giant citizens. That belongs to us. This is why I tell these individuals, instead of running, you should build your land. Don't run from it, build it. They come to the sleeping giant, but there are consequences when you come to the sleeping giant legally and you sign up for these things under a fake number, the the social number. All right, so I'm just gonna end it here, guys. But this is where we at. This is where we at, and it's a crazy number. So there's gonna be a massive operation, and again, we still have 3.5 years with Donald. So this is gonna be a huge, big operation here. So we're gonna see how all this plays out. Share the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Once again, guys, $5 a month Patreon. We get you access to our live stream once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about in the platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Put faith and trust in Jesus Christ. For he's the only way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father except through Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.